Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of College Hockey Talk. On today's podcast, I am joined by sophomore forward of the Minnesota Duluth women's hockey team, Kassy Betinol. Kassy is a 2017 Canadian Sports Hockey League Female Prep League champion. In 2018, she was the top scorer at Okanagan Hockey Academy and was a part of the UMD squad this year that made the Frozen Four in 2021. Welcome to the podcast, Kassy, and how's everything going?
Thank you so much for having me. It's been going well. It's finals week, so just trying to bear down and get some studying done. But Duluth's been warming up, so it's nice.
That's good to hear. And have you had time to reflect on the season that just happened since you had so much success as a team?
Yeah, so we're actually our whole team's still in Duluth, so we've had plenty of time to just talk about the season and how much fun it was to obviously reach the Frozen Four. So yeah, a lot of time to reflect and kind of appreciate the year.
Yeah, and what have you been up to since the season ended a couple of months ago?
Yeah, so we're just still training, kind of switched up our strength phases and stuff like that. Obviously, like I said, the weather's warming up, so just trying to get outside and just hang out with friends and study, trying to finish the year off strong.
Well, that's awesome to hear. And yeah, no, it's nice that the weather's getting warmer because I heard in Duluth it snowed a couple of weeks ago. So it's nice that you guys are finally getting some warm weather.
Yeah, honestly, it's pretty unpredictable, but I think it'll start warming up here pretty soon.
That's awesome. Do you have any off-season plans besides hockey or training?
I actually love to golf, so I think at the end of May, hopefully I'll be able to get back to Canada, get back home, and then I think honestly just golfing with my brother all summer long, I think is the plan.
Awesome. What's your handicap?
I don't keep track of that.
That's good. That's good. I'm not the best golfer. I do enjoy doing it though. So I guess my problem is the putting. I'm not really good at my short game. My long game's decent, but it's just I have to work on the putting. But I feel like if I get that down, I'll be a pretty decent golfer.
Yeah, honestly, I'm the same way. The short game needs some work, but I think after this summer and going pretty consistently, hopefully it'll get better.
It should. It should. What's the best golf course in Canada? And are they opening up? Because I know some parts of Canada are in lockdown right now.
Yeah, I know in BC, pretty much all of them are super pretty and stuff. So if I had to choose anywhere in Canada, that's probably where I would go.
Awesome. Well, let's talk a little bit about hockey. What are you hoping to work on in the off season? Is there some part of your game that you're trying to work on or improve on?
Yeah, I think my speed and strength, I think since I'm such a small player, I think that's definitely something that's really important to work on. I think I want to become stronger in this off season so I can come back and just be faster and be able to keep up with the game better.
Now, talking to other college hockey players throughout the past year, they're saying how this past off season it was hard to work out and get some ice time because of the closures. Is that something you experienced, and how are you going to use that coming into this off season for preparation for next year?
Yeah, so I stayed in Duluth last summer. So our house, we're pretty lucky. We have this big garage. So we turned that into our little home gym. My roommates and I we got all the weights from our weight room down at the rink, and then we were able to work out there. And then I think around July-ish, we were able to get out to get some ice here in Duluth, but it was we were getting dressed at home or in parking lots. So I think going into this summer, it'll be really nice to not have to worry about any of that and just be able to get to the gym and get to the rink and do what we need to do. So it'll be a lot better.
That's awesome to hear, and I think it will be better. I think things are starting to open up a little bit more, which is good to see.
Yeah, definitely for sure.
Now, I want to transition a little bit and talk about the beginning of your hockey career and then work all the way up to where you are now. So you're from Okotoks, Alberta. How'd you start playing hockey and falling in love with the sport, especially in an area like Canada where hockey is everything?
Yeah, so I had two older brothers. My oldest one is 7 years older than me, and then my other one's 2 years older than me, and they were both like really into hockey. They got into it, so I pretty much like grew up in the rinks, like watching them play and stuff. Like actually, fun fact, my brother who's 2 years older than me is a goalie, and I like really had my heart set on being a goalie, but it just like didn't really work. But I would always be going to like all of his lessons and like watching like all of his practices and everything like that. And then I think I started skating like on the outdoor ponds maybe when I was around 4, so pretty young. But I would definitely have to give credit to my brothers for getting me into hockey.
Do you ever just shoot pucks at your brother whenever you're mad at him?
That's actually a funny thing is that like when we would play like knee hockey in the basement and stuff like that, since I'm like the youngest and they always like picked on me growing up, they would always throw me in net, and they would be the ones who were like ripping all the like the mini stick balls and like everything at me. So it was kind of ironic, honestly.
Definitely, definitely. Well, I know a guy that he was a goalie and his kids wanted to play goalie and he just started ripping pucks at him and then they didn't want to be goalie anymore after having to take those shots. So that's why goalie is such an interesting position because it takes such a unique person to do it.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, honestly, I had a lot of fun with it when like with my brothers when we were little, but um yeah, it just didn't really work out for me. So player, I just became a player instead.
Now, being in Alberta, who was your favorite player growing up?
Oh, that is a tough question. I think well, growing up, like I watched a lot of Team Canada women's stuff, and obviously Haley Wickenheiser, but I think when I was around, I want to say 7, I met Cassie Campbell, and I was like, oh my goodness, we have the same name, like this is crazy. And I remember just watching her like all the time when I was growing up.
Yeah, that's awesome. And it was it cool to see Haley Wickenheiser get inducted into the Hockey Hall of Fame a few years ago because I know that meant a lot to a lot of people.
Yeah, it was really cool. It was definitely a big moment for her and just like women's hockey and hockey in general.
Now, before Duluth, you played for Okanagan Academy. How'd you get the opportunity to play there?
Yeah, so there was like a bunch of college showcases when I was like in bantams. And so I was lucky enough to head out to BC and go to a couple of those. And then when I was there, that was when the OHA coach reached out to me, and we just like started talking and stuff. And I was like talking to my parents about like, I guess like all the pros of like going to a hockey academy. So I was able to do that and go to OHA for 2 years and then a 12-year, and both were just like amazing.
Yeah, that's cool to hear. And I know that your UMD teammate, Kaylee Skinner, also went to Okanagan. What was it like being her teammate in prep school and then obviously being her teammate now with Duluth?
Yeah, I love Skins. She's awesome. She's honestly probably smarter than like any person that I know. I know I just remember in high school when I told her she was already like committed to UMD, but then I told her I was like I'm committed to UMD, and I just remember it was just us two in the locker room, and we just like started celebrating and stuff. So it's definitely been a really cool experience to be able to go from like high school to college with her, and like even today like we keep like reminiscing about memories from high school and stuff. So it's really cool to have that with someone.
Yeah, and speaking of memories, what was your favorite memory you've ever had with Okanagan?
With OHA. It's gotta definitely be the my first CSSHL championship. It was my grade 10 year. And yeah, we had like an unbelievable team. Like I don't know how else to describe it. It was just like an awesome moment to do that with such a good group of girls.
Now, you were a member of Team Alberta in the 2018 U18 championships. What was that experience like for you representing your province in that tournament?
Yeah, so that was my first year of Team Alberta. obviously it's super special just to be representing something that's bigger than yourself. I think that like putting that jersey on meant like the world to me. It was actually in Quebec City, so that was like also a really really cool location. So I just remember like the experience. It was just a lot of fun and just in a great city as well.
Yeah, I've never been to Quebec, but everyone says it's one of the best cities in Canada. Is the language barrier tough because I know they mostly speak French in Quebec?
Yeah, it's a little bit tough. I what was I doing? I think I was like trying to order a Subway sandwich and it was really hard, but yeah, it was still like a lot of fun.
Now, how did those experiences with Team Alberta and OHA help prepare you for college hockey with Duluth?
hmm So I think like OHA, like I moved away from home when I was, I want to say 16. So I think like I lived with like a built family over there, but still like being away from my parents, I guess, made it a lot easier when I came to college just to not be as homesick. I mean, obviously I still miss them, but just being able to be away from home and just like be okay with it. And Team Alberta, I think it was the same thing. Like I know for Canada games, like the in 2019, it was I think we were gone for like 2 weeks or something. Like we were gone for stretches of time, and then like all the camps leading up to like those teams being named were also like a week long, and you're living with your teammates and just being away from, I guess, home and like what's comfortable. So I think being in those situations really helped when I got to college.
Did it help for this year, especially since the borders were closed, so your family couldn't even come down to watch you play at all this year?
Yeah, it did. It helped a lot. I was able to go home for Christmas, which was nice, but um yeah, they haven't been down here in however long now, so it definitely really helped.
Well, it definitely, at least the games were getting streamed on Flow Sports, which I think helped that aspect of it because I know for a lot of people before it was hard to find those games to stream.
Yeah, definitely. My mom's made sure she bought the whole subscription package, everything. They watch our games when they come home from work, so they're keeping up, but from far away. But it all worked out.
Now, talk about your recruitment process for a little bit and what made you want to go to Minnesota Duluth?
Yeah. So my recruitment journey, I think, started in Bantam. At that at that time, I was kind of really just talking to like Canadian schools. And then when I moved away, I was like, and started going to all those showcases. That's when it kind of like broadened out to the U.S. and NCAA. So just started like getting in touch with all the schools and kind of talking with the coaches and like seeing what they're about and what the program's about. And then I think it was grade 11, I want to say. My mom and I were able to do a trip around the states, and I think we visited maybe like 7 or 8 schools. But I think ultimately a lot of why I picked Duluth was just like the culture that they have here. It's like it's a really really hardworking culture, and I think like a lot of people can agree that we're usually like not necessarily the underdogs, but always kind of like like talked about as the underdogs. So I think that was really cool to come into, and then obviously like the scenery and everything here. Like I love the outdoors and like I love hiking and love being by water. So I think that was also a really big part of it.
Yeah, definitely. And you also get to play under Coach Maura Crowell. What's it like getting to play under her, and what have you learned under her so far in your time in college hockey?
Yeah, no, it's been great to play under coach. She coached me for the past 2 years now. I think what she really implements to our team is just that like how important the team culture is in like the locker room, even like aside from being on ice. I think especially this year we really harped on just like connecting with each other, and I think like through COVID we've been able to like do a bunch of like team Zoom meetings, and like do like book clubs, and like have meetings about like everything, all that crazy stuff that was going on with our world. So it's definitely like brought our team closer, and she does like a great job being able to connect with our team and bring us closer off ice, which I think ultimately leads to on ice.
Yeah, and as a freshman, what was the biggest adjustment you had to make to college hockey? Was it the speed of the game, or was it just making quicker decisions with the puck?
Yeah, I think it was um probably a little bit of both. I think the bigger one would be quicker decisions with the puck. I know in high school, like when you got it, there was like quite a bit of time that you had to be able to make a play, but come to college, like you like got to know like the play before you even get the puck. So I think that was probably the biggest difference.
Now, in your freshman year, you had some in-season tournaments that you got to participate in. One of them was the Minnesota Cup, which you won. What was it like to win that in-season trophy, especially since it was the Minnesota Cup and you're a Minnesota team? I thought that was pretty interesting.
Yeah. No, that was awesome. All the tournaments last year, I can remember them like to a T. Just like just an unreal experience. I think that was our first tournament, right? Uh, that season. So um, being able to be in like a different atmosphere than just like regular season league games was really cool, and a really really good experience with the team we had.
Yeah, and another in-season tournament you got to play in was the Nutmeg Classic in Connecticut. Talk about playing in that tournament, playing against teams that you normally don't face on a consistent basis, and just talk about what you learned from that experience overall.
Yeah, so definitely like playing teams out of our conference is always like so much fun. I think it's something that we had to miss out on this year just because of COVID and everything. But I think it was really cool to see. Sounds weird, but teams from like different conferences have just like different styles of play. I think that, in my opinion, like the WCHA is a pretty like aggressive and like I don't know, like really aggressive league, and tough league. So going out east and like playing the teams that we don't really play was really cool. And um, I think it taught us how to like just like face adversity and like think on our feet in like different ways and be comfortable being uncomfortable. So it was good.
Now, Connecticut's obviously known for its pizza. Did you get a chance to try any places out when you were down there, or not really?
Um, I I can't remember, but I don't think we had any Connecticut pizza.
No, that's
So
disappointing.
yeah, I gonna have to get around to that next time I'm in Connecticut.
Definitely, definitely. Well, hopefully there's some out of conference games next year, so maybe you can get on that when you have the chance.
Yeah, I hope so. I think our schedule might be out or might be coming out soon, so we'll
I know
see.
the men's schedule came out, but I'm not sure about the women's schedule.
Yeah, that's what I saw. So I feel like ours will be coming out pretty soon here. So
That's awesome. And obviously, in your freshman year, you lost to Wisconsin in the WCHA semifinals. How'd you use that loss as motivation heading into next year? Because I feel like your team was really good, and unfortunately, just couldn't make the tournament last year, or your freshman year, I should say.
yeah, that was definitely stung. I think like our team my freshman year, we had a lot bigger goals for ourselves, and definitely with the team we had, like obviously like Maddie Rooney, Sid Brott, all those like unreal players. But yeah, it was like I guess a blessing in disguise for this year. Being able to experience what that felt like and what that loss felt like. So I think that motivated all of us like returning players to just really get after it in the summer and make sure that that didn't happen.
Yeah, and obviously, this past year, your team dealt with a lot of challenges because of the pandemic. How did you deal with all those challenges personally, and what was that like?
Yeah, so there is obviously this year is like no other year that we've ever had, but and all year we were stuck in like a social bubble of just ourselves. So we weren't able to go to like any restaurants or like see anybody outside of like our team. And our staff, I guess. So that was definitely, I think, a hard thing to do for our team. But I think in like the midst of it all, it just brought us a lot closer together. So we were spending like every single minute together. I think we had no choice other to get along and have a good season.
Did you learn anything new about some of your teammates that you didn't know before since you got to be so close together throughout the entire regular season and in the playoffs?
Yeah, that's a funny question. So I think yeah, the biggest thing is that we have a lot of funny players on our team, and so it made like staying in this little or just our team bubble honestly like really really fun. I think at the start we were like, oh no, we can't really see anybody, but like as it went on, we started to learn so much more about each other and just like really like know who we were. And I don't know, our team's like we're really tight and there's a lot of funny players on it, so it was a good time.
Who's the funniest teammate you have?
It's definitely got to be my roommate Maggie Flaherty. She's
Mhm.
always got jokes up her sleeve, or even if she doesn't, she's still funny somehow, so definitely her.
That's awesome. And I want to talk to you a little bit about the freshman class that came in this past year. Talk about the impact they had on your team and how did you help their transition into college hockey, especially since this was a year that you'd never experienced before?
Yeah, our freshman we're really fortunate to have our freshman class that we had this year. I think they all brought something different and their own strengths in like in a different way. But and even like off ice and on the ice, they're all five of them are just like great people, really good hockey players. I think their transition to college was obviously different. They didn't get like our Bulldog welcome week that we have here in Duluth, or any of the orientation stuff that you would normally get on a normal year. But I think with that we were able to start like team Zoom meetings, way back in I want to say like June-ish. So it was cool because we got to kind of meet them over Zoom and like talk to them over Zoom in our meetings, and like kind of get to know them that way before we met them in person. So I think that definitely helped with their transition and like helping them like be comfortable coming into a whole new environment.
Now, you played in front of zero fans or limited capacity throughout the entire season as well. Was that an adjustment for yourself, not playing in front of any fans?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. We have our fans at Amsoil are unbelievable, like none other. I think that was definitely a big component that we missed this year. But we were able to get all those cardboard cutouts, and we were really thankful for all the people who bought those and wanted those there. So I think that definitely helped just making the rink feel a little bit more packed than it obviously was. So um, yeah, well, I'm just really really excited for next year. Hopefully we can get everybody back at the rink and cheering loud.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, did those cardboard cutouts make a difference? Because I know some players say they didn't really notice them, and some players said they did make somewhat of a difference.
Yeah, I think when playing, didn't really notice them, but just I think like the overall feeling of having like them there rather than just like plain empty seats definitely made a little difference. So I think I honestly thought it was a great idea.
Now, you had to adjust to some schedule changes as well. How did you deal with all those postponements and changes that were made to your schedule, and what was the key for maintaining flexibility for this season?
Yeah, so I think the key was just I think staying in our bubble and following the rules. I think our whole team like really bought into that. We didn't have a COVID case I think until after January was our first one. So um, yeah, I think we all really bought into that. And then when we did uh, have to cancel our Minnesota weekend and kind of face that adversity, I think we all I don't want to say knew it was coming, but kind of all at the same time it was probably pretty much inevitable. Um, but yeah, we were able to still work out like with the ones who weren't in contact and like keep staying safe, but still like preparing for the next weekend to come.
Now, 3-on-3 overtime was introduced to college hockey this year. What was that like for yourself, having more space on the ice and having more offensive opportunities to score goals?
Hmm. Yeah, I that was definitely that was weird for sure. I think I know like my freshman year, there was like some opportunities of 3-on-3. Um, but this year, like obviously having so much more space, I think it was a little bit, I want to say a little bit like easier to kind of calm the game down over time and play more calm. So I think that was definitely helpful. So yeah, I think it was good.
Yeah, I know I like it just because one, it eliminates ties, and I hate ties. I'm not a tie guy. I think it kind of ruins the game because you want to know who wins or who would win or lose a game. And it also
Hmm.
shows off the skill set of some incredible college hockey players that you might
Hmm.
not see in a game just because of the 5-on-5 and the defensive play that's going on.
Hmm. Exactly. Yeah, I completely agree with you there.
Now, I did hear, though, in the 3-on-3 overtime that you have to be a little more defensively minded than offensively minded because if you make one little defensive mistake with the puck, it can cause an odd man rush. Is that something you noticed when working on those 3-on-3 drills in practice or in those game situations?
Yeah, 100%. I think with 3-on-3, it's really, really important to play defensively. I think once like you lose your player, they have so much space to get around you, and it's one pass, and that can be like all three of you. So I think being able to really play like defense first is definitely a huge key in being successful for 3-on-3.
Now, your team was consistently ranked one of the top 10 teams in the country throughout the regular season. How did you maintain that success throughout the regular season, but also deal with the pressure of having that ranking? Because there is a lot of outside pressure that comes with that ranking, both internally and I guess in the media as well.
Yeah, I think we handled the pressure good. I think we honestly just focused on ourselves. Like obviously we were checking the polls and seeing where we're ranked and whatnot, and it was cool to see how our hard work and our efforts paid off all year and keeping us there. But I think for the most part we just focused on what we were doing and what we could control. I don't think many of us felt the crazy outside pressure because we were just so focused on what we were doing.
Now, I want to transition and talk about the tournament games that you played this year. What was your mindset heading into the national tournament this year after losing to Ohio State in the WCHA tournament semifinals?
Yeah, that was a tough game for sure. Definitely not how we thought it would turn out or wanted it to turn out, but I think there's a video on Twitter where we didn't know if we were going to get into the national tournament or not. So we all like our whole team went down to the rink and we watched like the unveiling of the tournament names all together. And so I think whether our name was called or not, we were all of us were prepared to play in the tournament. So um yeah, hearing our name, we all of us like jumped up and down, we screamed, we were so excited. But having that loss definitely fueled us, and I think the biggest mindset that we had was that we can like it was just another opportunity to prove that we weren't a 7-2 loss kind of team and that we can do so much more than that. So I think that really like put a fire under us and really motivated us for the tournament.
Yeah, I did get the opportunity to see that video, and I'm not on the team, but it did bring a smile to my face because it was so cool seeing your reaction and just how excited you were. But I have to ask, some guy did step on the logo. Uh, do you have any thoughts on that? And what was his reaction after you guys found out about that?
Yeah, yeah, he's our strength trainer. That was honestly one of the first things all of us noticed. I think it was pretty hard to miss, but he got, I think, I want to say 20 or upwards of $20 fine or something like that. So he paid it off, and we were able to forgive him. But it's well, like we'll never ever stop giving him a hard time about that.
That's awesome. Now you started off the tournament by playing Colgate. You won that game in overtime, 1-0. What did you take away from that game? And just talk about the defensive performance in that game as well, because that was something that really stood out to me when watching that game.
Hmm. Yeah, that was a really good game. I think that was our first game playing Colgate. I guess we played them my freshman year, but obviously out of conference. So I think our defensive game was unbelievable. Um, that whole game, and then having it go to overtime, can't get much more exciting than that. And then our captain Ashton Bell scoring the game winner was just honestly meant to be. She's such like a great leader for her team and everything. So that game, I think the whole time we were in it together, and in the end paid off.
Yeah, I want to talk about that overtime celebration because I don't know if it was you, but I think you made a little fall and knocked over some teammates, but I thought it was awesome.
No, that was 100% me. I mean, I was so excited. I All I remember is just jumping off the bench and skating as hard as I can all the way down the rink, and then jumping into the pile. I think I want to say it was Maggie or someone's stick was pointing out of the pile a little bit, and as soon as I like jumped in, it stabbed me in the stomach, and then I just went flying backwards. And I honestly haven't heard the end of that, and I probably never will. But I mean, I was so excited, so whatever.
Yeah, no, you won a game. I think that's what's more important. I just thought the
Yeah,
fall was awesome because I know someone was talking about it when on Twitter, I think.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. I didn't see it, but I would not be surprised if somebody was. But
Hmm.
definitely, uh, the bigger part was the overtime win. So.
Now, you then played Northeastern in the Frozen Four. How'd your team offensively prepare for Northeastern, especially since they have one of the top goalies in the country in Aaron Frankel, who just won the Patty Kazmaier Award recently?
Yeah, super cool to see her win the Patty Caz. Like unbelievable accomplishment for her. But yeah, we've done like a lot of offensive skill sessions all year. We do like a skill session once a week, and then we do like a lot of offensive zone play and all that. So I think we were well prepared for that game, and I think when it came down to it, it was just like head to head. Obviously, Northeastern's a great team too, but yeah, they have an unreal goalie. We were fortunate we got to put one past her, but I mean, in the end, like it is what it is. So
Yeah, something I noticed when watching that game was just how physical it was, especially in overtime. Was that something your team practiced before the game? Was just the physicality you wanted to bring to Northeastern?
yeah, like I mentioned before, I think we're working with that like all year with like teams like Ohio State and like Bemidji and all those teams in our league. So I think we were well prepared for that too, and we definitely took that into consideration before that final game.
Now, the physicality I thought brought a different element to that game. So I have to ask you, do you think hitting should be allowed in women's hockey?
Yeah, that's a yeah. I mean, I think the presence of hitting is definitely a big change. I mean, I don't see why not. Like I all the girls who are playing hockey are already tough, so I think like if they do it, they do it. That's great, and I think that yeah, there wouldn't be any harm in making it allowed.
What was the biggest check you've ever thrown in your career, if you have?
It's got to be back in. I played boys hockey until Pee Wee, so that was when they had checking in Pee Wee, and I remember is I don't know how to describe this well, but like this one guy was coming across the blue line with his head down, kind of, and he was just like looking for the pass, and then like caught the pass, and his teammate gave him a pretty bad pass, and that was right there. So I think that was my biggest one.
That's awesome. That's why you have to always keep your head up. That's why they teach you that at a very young age.
Exactly, exactly, for sure.
Now you lost that game against Northeastern in overtime. What were your emotions, I guess, after that loss? Because you had a 2-0 lead heading into the third period, and then they scored two quick goals in the third period to tie the game up. And then obviously the overtime goal that was scored felt like it was going in slow motion just by the way the shot happened. So I guess like what was going through your mind when all that was going on?
Yeah, I think like all of us were just really into the game. I think honestly that was one of our best games as a team, and that overtime goal was, like you said, slow motion and just really really unfortunate. But I think after the loss, going into the locker room, like I think we were more proud of our team and how we played. Like sometimes just things like that happen, and there's nothing you can do to control it. So um, yeah, I think we were more proud of our team than anything else for playing such a good game and having such a good season, getting to the Frozen Four. But I mean, obviously not satisfied with that, so we're always shooting for more.
Yeah, definitely. And when you look back on this season, what do you overall take away from it?
There's a lot that I'm gonna take away from this season. I think the biggest thing is just being able to face adversity and uncertainty, I guess, with COVID and not knowing what's going to go on the next day, and just being able to stay in the present, I think, is the biggest thing I'm going to take away from this year and moving forward.
Now, I want to ask you this because some of your teammates were involved with this tournament. The World Championship tournament got canceled recently. It was obviously been rescheduled to August, but what was your reaction to that news, especially since your former teammate Sydney Brott was going to be a part of that team? And I know Gabby Hughes, your current teammate, was trying out for Team USA for that World Championship tournament.
Yeah, I saw that, and then like my initial thoughts were just like really, really bummed out for all the players that are involved with that. I know like all of them put in such like great amounts of work to just be there and have that opportunity, and having waited for the world championships, like obviously it was like super unfortunate. I know our freshman Nina, she was all the way in Germany training for that just this past month, and Ashton, she was in Canada for that, and like seeing them have to come all the way home, and after like everything that they've been working for, and all the players that are involved with that was just really um unfortunate. But I mean it's really good that they rescheduled it and are able to make it work.
Yeah, definitely. And obviously, Sydney Brott was your captain last year. I've had the chance to interview her for this podcast. One of the nicest people I've ever met. What was it like being her teammate when you were a freshman?
Yeah, I think Sid's unbelievable. She's a great person. She was actually up in Duluth these past couple weekends, so I was able to reunite with her. Um, just, I think if I had to describe Sid, she would just be one of like the best leaders. Um, she's someone who just is always doing the right thing, and she always like works her hardest every single day, and just like makes everybody around her better. Like doesn't matter who you are, where you're from, she'll treat everybody the same, and I think that's what makes her so special. And then obviously the hockey side of it, like unbelievable player. Definitely one of the best that I've played with and watched. So I'm excited to watch her and her next journeys in hockey with pro, and hopefully with USA as well. So
Now, we're now in the segment I like to call the non hockey segment, where I ask you some non hockey questions. How do you balance the academic side and the hockey side of being a student athlete? Because it's for myself being a college student, it's hard just to balance the academics. But I feel like adding hockey on top of that just makes it more of a challenge.
I think the biggest thing is having such motivated teammates. I we're all on top of our schoolwork, so we definitely hold each other accountable. And like my roommates here as well, we like do our homework downstairs, and we make sure like we're all doing it and getting it done. And then I think having to leave for weekends on like Fridays or Thursdays even, um, kind of just forces us that like to be on top of things and like attend all the classes and get notes from professors ahead of time, and essentially like, get ahead in school, just because like we'll be missing stuff. So I think I have to give a lot of credit to my teammates.
Now, your team has really good style, one of the best stylish teams in college hockey. You obviously have one of the best styles on the team as well. But besides yourself, who has the best style on the team?
Oh my goodness. If you asked me this last year, I would say Brooklyn Shugel,
Hmm.
100% has the best style. But it might be a tight race this year. I don't think I could just pick one. But yeah, thank you for saying that. That's a good compliment. I'm gonna relay to our girls here.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I see the pregame, like, I don't know what it's called when you guys walk into the stadium. And I always take note of that because it's something that I notice. I do it for both the men's and women's teams. There's some really good stylish men's teams out there. And I feel like the women's hockey teams don't get enough credit for how much effort you guys put in your outfits pregame.
Yeah, I think a lot of us go off of the look good, feel good, play good. So I
Mhm.
think that has a lot to do with it.
Who had the best outfit pregame that you've ever seen before with Duluth? Because there's been some cool ones, I thought. Well, at least that I've seen.
Oh my goodness.
Was it a Brooklyn Shugel outfit last year? Because everyone says that she has the best style.
Yeah, she's got a really good style. But actually, another person is Kaylee Skinner. She's always like popping off with like the Gucci belts and whatever. Definitely stuff that I could not pull off.
That's
But
awesome.
I would have to say her. She came to one of the games in like this like pantsuit. It was, I want to say it was like a gray plaid one if I remember correctly. It was we all she came down and we're all like, oh my gosh, skins like just popping off. So definitely her, I would say.
I think what breaks an outfit, and I've seen this before, is the hats. Sometimes people wear I don't know what it's called, the pull down hat, and then some people wear like the fedora. Is that something you like to implement to your style?
It's funny that you asked that because my roommates and I were just talking about this. But those fedora hats are definitely getting in style and have been in style. So I think we honestly are probably gonna go to Target pretty soon and get some for ourselves. I don't own one currently, but I hope to soon.
So next year, will you confirm that you will be wearing a fedora one game for pregame? And I just want to ask because I want to promote it, and then we'll go back to this episode.
Yes, I can confirm, and I'm gonna use this as an excuse, so maybe my parents can help me out with this purchase. But yes, I will be wearing one.
Now, something that a lot of people know about yourself is how good of a hockey player you are. But besides that, what is something you wished more people knew about yourself?
Oh, geez. I would have to say I play guitar too.
Awesome.
So yeah, I just started that like just learning off of YouTube and stuff for like in my downtime and alone time. So um yeah, that's just something I don't think a lot of people know about me.
I've always wanted to play the guitar. I've been trying to practice, but it's hard when you're kind of busy with school because you need like at least like an hour a day to just practice on like the different like tabs. I don't know what they're called, but the thing I've noticed is it makes your fingers bleed. Like I don't know if you've experienced
Yeah.
it, but like the frets like get so jammed up in my skin. It like hurts after a while.
No, I've definitely experienced that. I think honestly though, I think the more you play, like the more your fingers kind of get used to it. So um yeah, just it doesn't happen to me anymore. So that's probably just from playing so much.
What song do you like to play on the guitar the most? Any like Jack Johnson songs? I'm trying to think who else. Any pop songs from today?
I'm a big fan of playing country songs, but I think one of like the nicer sounding ones. I love playing Free Falling.
Oh, that's a great song.
Yeah, great song, just classic. So I think if I had to pick one, that'd probably be it.
Yeah, the intro of that song is really cool though. The dun 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 dun. I think that's like one of the more iconic intros. So that's awesome that you
Yeah,
get to play with that. I've always wanted to learn.
yeah, you should learn. I literally just learned it off YouTube. So
Yeah,
yeah,
that song and then Wonderwall are the two songs I've always wanted to play in the
yeah,
guitar.
yeah. Yeah, I think I tried to learn that, but I don't know if I stuck with it.
Yeah, and speaking of music, what music do you like to listen to? I guess just old rock songs or anything else that I might have missed. I know a lot of people on the team might be big hip hop fans. Anything like that?
I'm a big country fan. Like growing up next to the Calgary Stampede and everything. Um, a lot of country. I listen to a lot of country, but um, honestly, I listen to whatever. I don't have a great preference, but yeah.
Now, you were obviously talking to me earlier how big of a golf fan you are. If there's any pro golfer you want to golf with, who would that be?
Definitely Tiger Woods.
Nice.
Pretty classic answer, but Tiger Woods and his kid probably.
Mhm. I've always wanted to. That would be my answer too, but I don't know. Hopefully, his health gets better so he can start golfing again because I think that'll be good to see.
Yeah, exactly. I think I don't know when it was when they did that father and son tournament. Did you see
Mhm.
any of those videos with him
I've
and
seen the pictures. I haven't seen any videos though.
I think I'm losing you.
No, I can see you now. It
Okay,
blacked
perfect.
out for a little bit.
But yeah, did you see any of the videos with him and his son?
I've seen some photos. I haven't seen any videos.
Oh yeah, you should watch those. They're super cute. If I had to go golfing, it would definitely be with those two.
I think for myself, besides Tiger, probably like I don't know, maybe like Justin Thomas or like Brooks
Mhm.
Koepka, just because they seem like they're cool guys off the course. So I think it would be cool to have a conversation with them while golfing.
Yeah, that would be unreal.
Now, if you had the world's attention for 30 seconds, what would you say?
If I had the world's attention for 30 seconds, oh my goodness, be nice to each other.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think that's probably what I would say.
That's awesome. Now, if you could live anywhere in the world, where would it be and why?
Definitely the West Coast.
Like
Um,
California?
yeah, I think I right now I want to stay in Canada, like
Hmm.
move back to Canada after school and everything. So somewhere in BC. I loved living there in high school, or like on the islands or around Seattle-ish. I think that would be my favorite.
Yeah, I've always wanted to visit Banff National Park. I don't know if it's in British Columbia or Alberta, but it seems like a great place to visit.
Yeah, I actually live like 45 minutes from there.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
awesome.
it's it's like one of the prettiest places too. I've been honestly really lucky with the places that I've been able to live in. So, yeah, you definitely have to make a trip out to Banff. It's unbelievable.
Now, back to some hockey questions. What advice would you give someone trying to pursue a Division I college hockey scholarship?
I think just to keep at it, there's gonna be like a lot of moments that you're gonna feel like giving up or quitting or just stopping in general. I think my biggest advice would to if you love it to keep at it, and I think in the end it will all be worth it, and the experience that I've had at Duluth so far is definitely a testament to that.
Now, what should be done to help grow women's hockey, in your opinion?
I think I think we're on the right track right now. There's with the involvement of like the NHL and all like the pro leagues, the PWPHA, or I think it's what it's called. There's a lot of movement that we've been seeing these past couple, actually this past year and however long ago. So I think to keep at that and just keep spreading the word and getting more people into it and involved with it and being able to watch it and appreciate it, I guess I think would be a good way to keep going with women's hockey.
Is there any shout outs you'd like to give to any of your teammates, friends, or family members? I know we mentioned some of them throughout the episode, but if there's anyone I might have missed, feel free to shout them out.
A shout out, yeah, I would give a shout out to my parents first of all for just I literally would not be here without them at all, and family, and then to all the girls, just unbelievable season this past year and very excited for what's to come these next couple years.
Well, thank you so much for coming on, Cassie. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for your time. I wish you all the best in the off season. Stay safe, take care, and good luck with your golf game and for your season in hockey next year. I'm looking forward to watch you play. You're one of my favorite players to watch on Duluth. So I appreciate you taking time and coming on today.
No, thank you so much for having me.
No problem. And one